This and previous editions of Front Row are available as downloads through the BBC Radio 4 website. In recent years, we've often commented on this programme on the number of leading American character roles that are given to British actors, such as Damian Lewis in Homeland or Emma Watson in The Perks of Being a Wallflower. But in the last few weeks, the balance of exports has been restored by three American actresses, Dakota and Elle Fanning and Maggie Gyllenhaal, adopting English accents for movie roles. So what are the tricks of changing accent as an actor? We asked dialect coach Elspeth Morrison to listen to 6 examples of UK-US or US-UK transformations, starting with Dakota Fanning as a teenage English cancer patient in Now Is Good.
It's true that if I kept going with the chemo, I'd probably live a bit longer. But it made me feel so bad. And there are things I want to do before I die. I've got a list. Most of what's on it's illegal.
Dakota Fanning in Now Is Good. Now, Elspeth, I started with that one because Dakota Fanning is from Georgia in America, which is one of the stronger regional accents. When I first saw that at a screening, I had to check my notes that it was really her, because it seemed to me, as a non-expert in this, rather impressive English.
Oh, it's fantastic, and she's got quite a sort of honking sound, if I mean that in the polite, kindly, nurturing way. But she's absolutely got the kind of English sort of slightly back foot sort of sound really well. There's sort of RP speakers that come forwards, and it's a very particular sort of character. But a lot of younger people do tend to sort of move away a little bit, whereas Americans of a similar age, the energy is there to the end of the sentence. They're not messing about. So the energy thing is very different, and I thought Dakota got that amazingly well.
Unsurprisingly, growing up in the same place was Elle Fanning, her sister, who turns up in Ginger and Rosa. Now, there's a particular vowel sound that I want to discuss with you.
I loved you, Rosa, but we are different. You dream of everlasting love. Not me.
Now, once you know that she's naturally American, you, as an amateur, get a sense of what's going on. It's the long A, isn't it? She emphasises lasting.
Just slightly too much. Did you hear that? Yes, it's because it's so alien to her. It's something Northerners like me often do as well when we think we're being posh and we go lasting, and it's too much. It's much lighter.
Because her natural delivery of the word would be something like
everlasting, for example. I don't know exactly how she talks, but it would be last and bath and path. It would be in that territory. But what we have to remember as well is as Brits, more than any other nation in the world, we are particularly picky about what people do with our accents, because we regard how people speak as we place them in social class based on accent.
Our third example is an actress who is technically French, having been born in Paris, but is better known for speaking with an English accent as a trainee wizard. This is Emma Watson in Perks of Being a Wallflower.
I saw Mary Elizabeth checking you out. Innocent. Worst kind of guys. Never see you coming. And parents love you. That's like extra danger.
Emma Watson. She was taking a double gamble here because she was taking on a different kind of role, but also, I think, in order to put some distance between her and Hermione Granger, a different accent. What do you reckon on that one?
Well, I think she's pretty good, actually. I mean, one of the things she's done, she's taken on what young Americans tend to do, is that sort of slight growl in the voice, that little thing that we might call it devoicing or fry in technical terms, but that little growl that British actors are taking on. So she's sort of cutting down, that helps her cut down the crystal clear tones. Maybe the N's are a little British. I mean, the big one for English actors doing American is the R. That's the killer, is when you say the R, because in British English we ignore the R if it's before a consonant on a word like farm. F-A-R-M, we treat it as a vowel. It's farm. Do you see? We look at that R sound and we go, I don't think so. I'm not going to say that. Whereas Americans are going to say farms. Scottish people are also going to say it, and Irish people are going to say it.
Well, and actors in the past have often said that if you're a Northern actor or an Irish actor, it can help you with other accents. It's quite easy to get from Irish to American, I think. For example, there is a prejudice that if you are very posh RP English, it's harder to do other accents, but this has been tested recently. We have an old old Etonian and an old Harrovian for balance. First of all, Dominic West, an old Etonian in The Wire.
We hung more wire on your brother's crew than AT&T. And at the end, D'Angelo was this close to flipping, giving up everybody, everything. But you know all that, right? You were the one who went down that detention center and talked your son out of a deal.
And now Damian Lewis in Homeland 2.
If you need these, you must be planning to hit one of these targets. I told Nazir I would influence lawmakers through my access. That is what I'm doing, and that is what we agreed to.
I know what you agreed to.
I am not a terrorist.
When I first heard Damian Lewis in Homeland, I made my little amateur's note, back of the throat and kind of lower end of the voice. He's using the husky part of his spectrum, isn't he?
Which, again, starting before John Travolta. John Travolta exclusively just talks. And Kiefer Sutherland, whisper and that sort of sound. You can barely hear what he's saying. You have to watch it with the subtitles, frankly. So that is a fashion with American male actors to have that kind of creaky, breathy sound. So Damian Lewis has gone to that place. And what I think is amazing about Damian Lewis is it sort of sounds like it's a continuous spectrum of his own voice. That's kind of why it works, because it's not big and bold and brash. And this is the mistake a lot of actors make, is when they see an American casting, they arrive there like this, going, hi there, I'm doing my... No, that's... I don't know what that is. But you just want to sound normal when you go to an audition, and it should be a continuation of your own voice. Dominic West, for me, in The Wire, when I first saw it a long time ago, I didn't quite buy in to his accent straight away. I kept thinking, is that guy's English? I couldn't quite work him out. I kept thinking, that guy's a bit English, isn't he? Is he? And I think it kind of settled in, but most people it hasn't bothered at all. And I think that's the other thing, is it's just personal taste, what catches your ear.
Maggie Gyllenhaal, a New Yorker who has recently played English in the film Hysteria.
According to your diagnosis, hysteria seems to cover everything from insomnia to toothache.
It's not.
It's nothing more than a catch-all for dissatisfied women. Women forced to spend their lives on domestic chores, and their prudish and selfish husbands who are unwilling or unable to make love to them properly or often enough.
Now, look, I have a theory here, which I can't in any way prove, and I apologise to Maggie Gyllenhaal if it's not true. I think she's listened to tapes of Emma Thompson, hasn't she, or a similar actress?
She has said that, yes.
Oh, has she? I just guessed that, right.
She has said that because she's got a
but there's lots of Emma Thompson in that, isn't there? Right, okay.
Yeah. So, and that's what a lot of actors do as well, and it's actually really helpful to basically stalk a particular person who's got a character like the one you're playing. Now, luckily, this is probably an Emma Thompson-ish sound, but it's sort of little things, just the way she said women. We have an sound, and she was like women or something. But again, as a whole, she sounded amazing. I listened to it last night, and all of them that I've listened to sounded English or American.
Elspeth Morrison on national transformations.